The Warsaw Uprising of 1944. There were rare instances of large urban rebellions in Europe during World War II. The minuscule list in which there were major cities that housed rebellions consisted of Paris, Rome, and Warsaw. The Warsaw Rising of 1944 was a pivotal revolt within World War II and later became an integral part of the Polish national identity. In 1939, the Germans and Russians gathered together in Moscow to sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. There they formalized a treaty to divide Poland into two parts, the east for the Russians and the west for the Germans. Later, during 1940, the Germans established the ghetto in Warsaw, which became the residence of the majority of its Jewish population. After several years of mistreatment, the Jews rose up but eventually were defeated by the Germans.
General Komorowski was the leading person of the Polish underground and party, and the idea was a right idea because the Germans were very weakened. The Russians, having been defeated, have had defeated and won the Battle of Stalingrad, and pulling out from Ukraine and from Russia, being victorious at that time, covering in a speed. The army was practically running for the revenge to Berlin and crossing Poland. So they thought this is the right time. And indeed it was.
The Polish leaders. There were several underground organizations operating in the time leading up to and during the Warsaw Rising, though the most prominent of all was the AK, the Armia Krajowa. This was in essence the remnants of the Polish state army after it was defeated in 1939 by the Germans. It consisted of military officers such as its leader, General Komorowski, General Antony Krusiel, and Major Tadeusz Polkzinski. The German leaders were General Rainer Stahel, the commander of German forces in Warsaw, Bronislaw Kamiński, who brought in ex-Red Army soldiers as reinforcements from the SS, and Erich Vandenbach-Zaluski, an SS military officer and head of the anti-guerrilla forces. The London government left the decision to start the battle for Warsaw entirely in the hands of the vice premier and home delegate Januszewski, who, as the front approached, received advice from the AK command. After rather lengthy discussions, the decision was taken to begin the fight as soon as the Red Army crossed the German defenses on the Ovskosk-Rembertov-Radzimin line, which did not appear to be heavily fortified. General Leopold Okulicki, 1898 through 1946, last commander of the Home Army.
Polish uprising, we knew a few days before that the uprising will take place.
On August 1st, 1944, at 5 o'clock p.m., the Berza campaign started. There were 20,000 rebels, 10% of which were women, but not all were able to fight due to their lack of weapons.
Polish people were fighting in Warsaw Uprising in 1944. And my mother, it was a lot of bombing, it was a lot of prayer. This whole city was destroyed. Really.
In comparison to the Polish forces, the Germans had around 13,000 fighters, most of whom had heavy-duty weapons.
Did you take part in that uprising?
I tell you, I was part of the uprising together with the Polish population. Preparing things and doing what the responsible people asked to do. But particularly in the Polish, as a Jew, I didn't have the contact of the AK. But I was part of the Polish population. As a Jew.
Close to 2,000 Poles died within the first day as they were attacking strongly fortified strategic objectives.
The Russians were hitting the Warsaw as well.
because they didn't want that would be a Polish uprising. And they used to say that Katyusha, that was going on. I'm not sure, though, how it was. I know it was terrible. Where I was, it was the war's front. And I think it was a terrible uprising. It was like 1 to 100, you see, 1 to million. I don't know why they did, but I think they did from the same reason as Jews did during the Jewish uprising.
By August 5th, the Germans called for reinforcements. By then, London had communicated with the Russians in Prague, hoping for reinforcements to help the Polish rebels, but were denied.
The Russians stopped at the Vistula, at the river, and didn't go further. And in the meantime, the Germans didn't lose the occupation of Warsaw, but they remained in Warsaw. And the uprising was a very bloody uprising.
Battles raged through both the day and night. The Poles accomplished several victories within the first few weeks, but their early success began to take a toll on them. On October 2nd, 1944, after a 63-day struggle, General Komorowski surrendered to the Germans.
All of Warsaw had to be cleared. Everyone, the revolt collapsed. It's not like the revolt in Warsaw Ghetto. You go back a little bit, the Warsaw Ghetto never collapsed. There was no surrender, no white flags. It was just the blue and white flag waving in our ears, like the Hatikva song, with the song of hope, it sounded in our ears. Am Chopschi. The Poles surrendered, there were white flags, and Warsaw had to be evacuated. No one was allowed to live in Warsaw.
The city as a whole was either demolished or burned down.
About 300,000 people were dead during the Polish uprising. The Germans were very much, they were all day and all night, they were hitting the Warsaw.
To 166,000 Poles died, and a large number was evacuated or moved to concentration camps. On January 17th of 1945, the Russians captured Warsaw and its 153,000 remaining inhabitants. Russia's occupation of Poland ended in 1989. Today there are memorials and museums to honor those who fought in the Warsaw Uprising. There are also songs and art created to commemorate such an important time in history.